Here is a fact about attention that not many people talk about. Where your attention goes, your consciousness goes. And where your consciousness goes, reality follows. Not eventually, not under the right conditions, consistently, right now. Which means that in this moment and every moment, your attention is either reinforcing the reality you have or building the reality you're choosing. That's it. Attention is not passive. It is the most creative act available to a conscious being. The question is not whether your attention is creating, because it always is. The question is whether you are directing it, or whether it's being directed by everything around you by default. After 5 weeks of building the consciousness, the assumption, the desire, the freedom, today is the episode where all of it becomes operational. I'm Anca. Welcome to Lumina Liber Season 1, The Power of Awareness, Chapter 6. Attention. This one changes how you move through every single day. Let's go. If this is your first episode, welcome. Go back to episode 1 and work forward. Each episode builds on the previous one. And what we do today is the most powerful on the foundation of the previous 5. For those returning, welcome. Happy to see you here. 5 weeks of real work. Congratulations. Today, we make it a daily practice that doesn't require a quiet room. Just 60 seconds, 3 times a day, and the felt knowledge of what gathered attention actually does, and that is in your body. Subscribe, share this one especially. It is the most immediately practical of the series. And let's begin. The most honest question I hear from the people I work with is, I get it in the morning. By noon, the day has completely reclaimed me. How do I stay in it? It is a good question, because it names the exact gap between understanding consciousness and living from it continuously. And the answer is not more willpower, not more discipline, not train harder. The answer is attention. Directed, repeatedly gathered, consciously placed. Because here is what actually happens without it. You build a powerful assumption in the morning practice. You touch real freedom in a transmission. You feel the of course of episode 3. And then a difficult email arrives. A conversation doesn't go the way you expected. Something in your environment confirms the old reality. And without practice, gathered attention, the new consciousness dissolves back into the default one. Not because the work was not real, because we know it was. Because attention, unguarded, always drifts toward what is the loudest, most urgent, most familiar. Chapter 6 is the solution to that problem. Let me start with what scattered attention actually does in your body. Research from the HeartMath Institute, one of the leading bodies of studying the relationship between attention, the nervous system, and coherence, shows that when attention is fragmented across multiple concerns simultaneously, heart rate variability decreases a lot. The nervous system enters a state of low-grade activation, not full flight or fight, something more chronic. A persistent low-level alertness that taxes the system without resolving. You know this feeling, the busy without productive feeling. The tired that sleep doesn't fix. The sense of having been all day without really having been anywhere. This is scattered attention. And clinical research consistently shows that most people in modern environments spend the majority of their waking hours in it. Not because they don't know better, they know. Not because they are weak or they don't have discipline, but because nothing in our environment is designed to support gathered attention. Everything is designed to fragment it. And scattered attention is scattered consciousness. And scattered consciousness placed on the current reality, even unconsciously, is not neutral observation. It is reinforcement. It is feeding the creative power of consciousness into what already exists, rather than what is being chosen. This is why people can work incredibly hard toward a desired reality while unconsciously reinforcing the consciousness of the current one. Two opposing consciousness running in parallel. And the one that gets the most consistent gathered attention, regardless of which one you consciously prefer, is the one that creates. You are not failing because you lack faith or understanding. You are winning the wrong race because your attention has been scattered by default. Now, here is the practice. And I want to be precise about this because precision matters. Attention is the act of going to a place in consciousness and staying there. Not visiting, staying. Against the pull of current reality if necessary. Not through force, through gathering. 3 times a day. Morning, midday, and evening. 60 seconds each. Morning. Before the day has a chance to establish the default, gather your attention. Feel the coherence return, then place it on the chosen consciousness, the assumed reality. Not the gap, not what's missing, the of course feeling from episode 3. 60 seconds, that's it. Midday, when the day has scattered you, and it will every day. Pause. 1 breath. Gather. Place. Return. This is not a meditation break, it is a consciousness reset. Takes less time than checking a notification. But from the neuroscience perspective, It interrupts the default reinforcement cycle and redirects it. Evening, before sleep, when neuroscience confirms the subconscious is most receptive to new patterns. Gather and place one final time. Let that last conscious act of your day to be placing of attention, and what are you choosing? Not reviewing the day, not processing what went wrong. Placed on the desired consciousness. As the final input before the subconscious takes over for 8 hours. That's it. 3 minutes total per day. And those 3 minutes done with gathered attention will do more than hours of wishing. Because effort without gathered attention is like trying to light a fire with scattered sparks. Gathered attention is the sustained flame. Now, the distinction that makes the practice work or not work. Gathered attention feels different from scattered attention in the body. Research on meditation and attention training consistently identifies the distinction as one that can be learned somatically, not just understood intellectually. Practitioners who learn to feel the difference rather than just understand it show faster progress in sustained attention practices than those who approach it cognitive, which means the most important thing we do today is not the concept of gathered attention. It is the felt experience of it in your body. As a reference point, your nervous system can return to in the middle of the day. That is the transmission for today. I want to ask you something before the transmission. When you are scattered, when attention has fragmented across 5 things at the same time, where do you feel it in your body? Stay with that for a moment, because locating it is the first step to interrupting it. Drop your answers in the comments after the transmission or now. Your specific location, chest, jaw, behind the eyes, belly, somewhere else. Names it for someone who had never been able to detect it in themselves. Your comment might be the most practical thing someone reads today. In somatic and consciousness work, there is a pattern that appears so consistently across different clients, different backgrounds, different presenting concerns, that it has come one of the first things I look for. Someone doing everything right on the surface. The practices, the work, the discipline, really committed. And something is not connecting at the depth it should. When we track it carefully, when we bring the body into the inquiry rather than just the mind, what almost always emerges is this. The body is performing the practice while the attention is somewhere else. Monitoring, planning, processing something unresolved. Present physically, absent attentionally. There is a well-documented in somatic research, and it talks about partial presence, a state where the body is in the room but attention is split between the present moment and an internal threat monitoring system. The body goes through the motions of a practice while a significant portion of attention remains allocated elsewhere. And the result of that is a practice that feels flat, that doesn't land the way it should, that produces understanding without the corresponding shift in state. And the correction, consistently, across different modalities and different practitioners, is not a new technique. It is gathering, bringing the full weight of attention into the present practice before beginning. Not for hours, for 60 seconds of gathered attention. HeartMath research on coherence training shows that even brief periods of gathered heart-focused attention produce changes in the autonomic nervous system, big changes that persist beyond the practice itself and that compound with every repetition, which means the 3 minutes daily practice is not small. At the level of the nervous system, it is one of the most significant things you can do. And the entry point into all of it, the skill that makes everything else work, is learning to feel the difference between scattered and gathered in the body, not as a concept, as a reference point, a home frequency the nervous system can return to. That is what we're building today. What we're discussed today is practical, and what we're about to do is make it somatic. So the body has a reference it can use without the mind having to remember anything. The transmission today has 3 phases, and the first one might feel perhaps a little bit uncomfortable, because I'm going to guide you so you can feel what scattered attention actually does in the body, clear enough to recognize it anywhere. Then we gather, then we place. The contrast is the teaching. Stay with each phase for exactly as long as I guide you. And obviously, listen to your body, because your body knows the best. So let's take a moment and take a deep breath now. Feel the body support it. And let the eyes close when you're ready. And just arrive. Body settled, breath finding its own rhythm. I want to show you something before we go anywhere. Let your attention do what it usually does. Let it go wherever it wants to go. The to-do list, something unresolved, what needs to happen later, what you're monitoring in the background. Don't resist it, just let it scatter. the way it does most of the day. Notice what that does in the chest. A kind of thinning, a diffusion, something pulling in several directions at once. Notice the quality of the breath. Notice the jaw, the space around the eyes, the low-level hum of a system that is never quite fully here. This is scattered attention, and this is the state in which consciousness reinforces the current reality by default, without permission. Feel it now so you can recognize it anywhere. And now, something different. Take one breath, longer and slower than any previous breath. And imagine everything that's scattered beginning to return, drawn back. The way scattered light drawn through a lens finds its focus, by the lens being present. Gather yourself, tenderly, completely. Each piece of attention that went outward, finding its way home. Notice the chest, something that was pulled in several directions, beginning to come home together. The nervous system exhaling into a single frequency. Coherence recognized. Let the breath deepen on its own. Let the jaw soften. Let the shoulders find a lower place. This is gathered attention, and feel the difference between this and what was there a few minutes ago. This is not a state present only in quiet rooms or meditation. This is a state your nervous system can find in 60 seconds, anywhere. Because now, your body knows what it feels like. And the body always finds its way back to what it knows. Let the gathering deepen. Feel the quality of attention that is fully here. Not split, not monitoring, not elsewhere. Here, gathered, present. Stay here. And now, from this gathered, coherent, present place, I want to show you what it means to place attention. Bring to mind the consciousness you are choosing, not the current reality, not what's missing, not the gap between here and there. The assumed reality, the of course feeling, the desire state, already real, already yours. And with the full gathered weight of your attention, place it there. Not visiting, not hoping in its direction, placing. Both hands, setting something down on a surface you trust completely. Feel what that chosen consciousness feels like in the body right now. The breath of someone already there. The chest of someone who already knows the quality of ease in a body that is not reaching because it has already arrived. Notice the quality of this attention placed on the chosen consciousness. This is creation, gathered and placed. Let it deepen. Let the desired consciousness become more familiar, more normal, with every breath, with every second. This is the most creative act available to you. And you are doing it now. Rest here in gathered attention, in placed consciousness, in the creative act that has always been available and is now yours to use. And in a moment, I will invite you to begin to fill the room. The sounds, the breath, the body, and bring the gathered quality back with you as a home frequency your nervous system now knows. And take a breath, a deep breath, and when you're ready, eyes open. Welcome back. And notice right now, in this exact moment, whether your attention is gathered or scattered. Because that noticing is the practice starting. 2 things for this week. The first, the 3 times daily reset: morning, midday, evening. 60 seconds each. Gather first and feel the coherence return in the chest. Then place it on the chosen consciousness. And that's it. 3 minutes total. Set 3 alarms if that's what it takes. The nervous system builds new defaults through repetition. So 3 minutes daily beats 30 minutes occasionally every time. The second, scattered attention detection. This week, notice the moment scatter begins. You will feel it in whatever location you identified earlier in the body. When you feel it, pause, 1 breath, and gather. That's the whole interruption. You don't have to do the full placement every time, just the gathering, just the return to coherence. That alone, when you practice it consistently, changes the baseline your nervous system operates from. Now, I want to hear from you. Where does scattered attention live in your body? You felt the contrast now, scattered and gathered. You know the difference in your body. Drop your location in the comments. 1 word, if that's all it takes. Chest, jaw, eyes, belly, throat. Because naming it makes it detectable. And that means you can interrupt it. And when you interrupt it, changes everything. And if this episode gave you something you can use today, share it. Your network is full of people running on scattered attention and wondering why their efforts are not creating what they intend. Send them here. Let's gather together. And 2 things. 1, the Lumina Awakening, free somatic audio at ancauni.com. Get it if you haven't already, link in the description. 2, 6 episodes in. If you've been doing the practice and you're ready to work in a private container where all of this is built specifically around your consciousness, your patterns, your desired reality, that's my private work. ancauni.com, apply to work together. Next week, Chapter 7, Attitude. Not mindset, not positivity. the inner atmosphere of consciousness, the way your awareness holds itself, and how that atmosphere determines what can enter your life. Read it before you come back. I will see you there. Be well. Om.